So this week, the red brick is hopefully disappearing. The plan is to attempt to get as much of this rendered as possible because we've got some cooler weather over the next week. But before I can start applying the first coat, there are some funny little holes where the shape of the tile arches over, where it meets the brick overhang. So they need filling because we want to render over it, but also it's going to stop wasps going in there and making nests.
We could not believe how divisive these red bricks have been. Some people love them, some people absolutely loathe them. Either way, they are soon going to be gone.
Well, out of nowhere, it's raining and hailing. Now I can carry on working in that weather, but the camera can't, so I'll have to leave you there for a second. I'm going to finish it off. Hopefully it's dry and I can come back and show you when it's done. There we go, that's all the little nooks and crannies filled in. So I'm going to leave that to dry for the rest of the day before putting on the first coat of the render, which we'll probably do tomorrow, weather dependent. So we got ourselves a new chipper. She's assembled, oiled, fueled, and ready for action.
And that's just me. This is petrol powered. We have one that's electric, but we're hoping that this is going to have a lot more energy, a lot more gumption to actually get through all of the branches that we've got, because we've got so much to process before the land clearance deadline, which is rapidly approaching.
Yeah, it's also can take much bigger, thicker branches than the electric one that we've got. But even so, look how small it is.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
It's compact.
It looks like a toy chipper. My first chipper.
My second chipper.
Yeah. They're a good size, aren't they?
Yeah, much bigger than the other chipper makes. Plus, we've had no blockages yet.
Happy days. Powerful little thing. So today we are applying our first coat of render. This first coat is a very, very sloppy mix. It's basically a splash coat. Both here, Portugal, and I think in Brazil it's referred to as a chapisco, which I think translates to like rough cast or something like that. And it is very strong and very sloppy. Oh, it's going to splash.
Like a milkshake.
Yeah, wouldn't want to suck that through a straw.
Plop.
So normally this mix is applied by basically taking a trowel, getting it in the sloppy mix and just whoosh, whipping it and slapping it onto the wall. You basically throw it on. Obviously that's going to make a right mess. I've never done it before, but we'll give it a whirl just to see how it goes. I'm going to take a bit and then... Well, I'm pretty glad that we're not going to be doing that because it's a right
It looks like
mess.
a cow had an accident.
Yeah, I mean, that's really hard. But you can see basically what happens. You flick it on and then you get this super rough texture when it dries out. That then makes like a really nice base for the final coat of render to grip to because it's so textured. So we don't really want to be making a mess and getting it all over the tiles above and the stonework below. I might just add, when you see experienced people do it, it doesn't look like this. Obviously, that's the first time I've done it. They normally flick it and you get like quite a good amount of coverage and they're quite controlled with it. I obviously don't have the technique, but to try and keep it cleaner, you can also do it with a textured roller. So that's what we're gonna do.
Also, there is actually another reason that we want to use the rollers. Ricky, do you mind me sharing this?
No.
So a few days ago, Ricky started to notice that it was getting a bit of fluid building up on his elbow. Now it looks like something's ready to erupt out of there.
Disgusting, isn't it? Doing that flicking motion all day long is not gonna be good. Could probably just do with a bit of rest on the elbow. So roll as it is. So remember a few minutes ago when we said we're going to use the rollers so it doesn't get quite as messy.
Things escalated.
So the roller actually worked really well and didn't create a lot of mess at all. However, doing the overhang on the top and the underside of that, the roller just can't get near it. So we've been having to flick it with a brush and it's just impossible to stay clean doing that. I'm glad this is working well, but one negative, it's taken a lot longer than we thought it was going to. Hopefully we can get the other side done much quicker. I'm going to move the scaffold round to one side. We've got about a third of the mix left, so we'll use up as much as we can and then have some lunch and mix some more.
Always happy to eat.
The lady has spoken. It is so much hotter today than we thought it was going to be. Not the most ideal thing for rendering in, but at least with this first coat, it's a bit thinner, so it's much easier for us to wet it down, but having to wet it down a lot. So it's taking up a fair bit of time. Anyway, that mix is done. So now gonna get some food, make another mix, and then carry on. So if you're wondering what the white liquid is that you see us pouring into the mix, it's basically just a simple additive that kind of helps the mix stay more plastic so we can work with it easier, but it also helps the chapisco to stick better to the wall. So that's going to stick really well and be a really good base for when the top coat goes on.
Who are you gonna call?
I can't hear you.
Breaking bad news to loved ones is always very difficult, and unfortunately today I've actually got to break some bad news to both Poppy and Ted. It's bath day.
Are you playing dead? I saw that tail. I can see you back there.
In fairness, we don't actually have to bath them too often, just once a month to keep down all of the dust that they pick up from playing around on the farm. But by the end of this, I'm not sure who's going to be wetter, me or the dogs. Poppy? Good girl. That with a flannel afterwards. One down. Thank you for your cooperation. Have your biscuit.
We're a bit slow off the mark this morning because the sun was intense yesterday and you're so exposed up on that scaffold, and it's going to be a few degrees hotter today, about 26, 27 degrees centigrade that is. Ready for another day of getting splashed with concrete?
Yeah, I keep ending up getting splashed by you more than anything because I'm lower down.
It was all by accident. Nah.
Yeah.
Is this risky?
A little bit of unnecessary jeopardy there.
Since we've built the overhangs with the brick, although you can kind of see the shape of it on the gables, it's been quite difficult to see it clearly because of all the lines on the bricks. But now on that gable end that we covered yesterday, even though it's only rough, it's covered those lines, and the one colour has made it all so much more cohesive, and the shape of the overhang is so much more pronounced. And yeah, it's really given us a good indication of what it's going to look like when it's finished.
If you're wondering how the windowsills are getting on, they're going to need another couple of weeks to fully harden and cure before we can install them. But here's a little sneak peek of how they're doing.
I don't actually know if you'll be able to see them because all the windows are boarded up and it's really dark.
Ooh.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you can see, they're getting a lot brighter and lighter.
Couple more weeks, we'll get them in place and see how they look in the windows. Excited. feels so wrong making this so wet and just so sloppy. Anything I've ever seen from people doing render or mortar, it's like, don't get it too wet, because if it's too wet, it's going to ruin it. But you know, this is one of those things that since we've been in Portugal, you kind of really pay a bit more attention to how different building techniques are from here to like the UK or the US. And it's one of those things you never really thought about before until you were here. I mean, we're doing it because that's what the manufacturer says on the render we've got. But yeah, this will be the last mix we're doing today. Get that gable end done. And that's that.
We've saved the hardest for last because it's so tall.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So there we have it. Chapisco finito. Now I'm saying that, I've got a feeling I might have been saying it wrong. I think it might be chapisco.
Chapisco.
Chapisco finito. Oh, the flies.
God, I don't know if these flies are attracted to my stink or the product. I'm so glad to be out of the sun and also have finished doing that because I can barely move my face.
Yeah.
I think the
Splattered.
concrete is like hardening. Oh, so boiling. Definitely need to cool down now.
I've got a solution.
Let me hear it. I hope you're doing what I think you're doing. No.
I thought that'd be refreshing.
It's turned into a paste.
I actually quite want it.
Come on then. Now I want you to remember you requested this.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mouth closed.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Better?
Oh. Cooler. Do not feel cleaner.
It's horrible.
So I've just finished giving the splash coat from yesterday a good soaking because it is warm this morning. It's going to get to about 28 degrees later on this afternoon, so it is going to need as much moisture in there as possible. So with the temperature being so hot today, we've made the call this morning that we're not going to be doing the finishing coat of the render this week. Next week, the temperature's actually dropping by nearly 10 degrees, so it just makes so much more sense to do it then.
We had to work really hard yesterday to actually keep this coat damp, so it is going to be quite stressful getting around and rendering the whole building. So the last thing we need is an additional worry that the top coat's going to be drying and curing too quickly.
Also, my gammy elbow is getting bigger, harder. There's a lot of pressure building up inside of it and it's actually getting quite sore. So I need to prioritize my health over work today because if my elbow ends up going bad and there's a problem, then I'm no good to anybody. I'm going to see a doctor this afternoon and hopefully they can get it drained before it gets so big that it gets a mind of its own.
So I've just spread out the chippings that we've got. I've still got quite a few more branches to do, which is just as well because there's quite a lot of paths in this small veg garden. Despite its size though, that little chipper's done very well. It's got like a bit of a mulch and chipping capability, which suits what we've got really well. So if you're in the market for a chipper, I have left the link in the description because we were pretty impressed with it. Small but mighty.
So now that's spread, we're going to get our drip irrigation kit that we bought the other week and get that installed because we want to test what the pressure is going to be like from the IBC. And also currently we just have a hose and a watering can, and although it works absolutely fine, it's definitely pretty time consuming. Are they easy enough to put together?
I'm impressed so far, although this one's now going wonky. Oh no, that's it. Must just be the operator.
It seems like Victoria might have a bit of an endless task on her hands here, trying to put all these adapters and fittings, cutting lots of hose and fixing them together. So while she's doing that, let me give you a quick, should we call it a garden tour, a little update of how things are going, because we were failing when we were growing over there, but things are going very well here. So, potatoes, still going strong. We've also got in the middle some cabbage, which is coming on nicely. Over here, courgette is flourishing. Can't wait to try that. Over to our lovely round bed. We've got an assortment of peas, mange tout, and lettuce. I think this will be going into lunch today. Then over by Victoria, we've got a load more peas in here, which is good. They're going well because both us and the dogs love eating the peas. Then we've also got some more lettuce, and what else is in there, Victoria?
We've got spinach all the way around the edge for extra muscles, and then down the middle we're going to put some watermelon. Those seedlings are actually going to be ready, I think probably in a week, maybe 2 to go out.
Get them in for summer. Also forgot to show you all around the edge of this bed, radishes coming up. So lots of salad foods. Also look how much these bugs are loving the marigolds.
This ended up being a little bit more fiddly perhaps than I anticipated, but it's gone together well, and the seals definitely seem secure and like they're not just going to pop off with the pressure of the water, but my fingers are getting a little bit tired from pushing all the valves together. So we've done 2 beds and I think it's time for a little test run. Are you watching?
Yeah.
Can you see anything yet? It'll come to that bed there first.
You can hear it. Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah?
Yeah, not on all of them. Some of them must be shut.
Yeah, well, anywhere you can't see water, give them a twizzle. The tricky bit is trying to get them to be all equal. Hey, Pop, we've got drip irrigation. Come here. What's this? Oops, good girl. We have still got another couple or maybe even a few hundred more drippers to make up.
Well, you better hop to it. You're going to be busy.
Yeah, I am going to be busy, but I'm not going to be alone.
I've got other plans.
Convenient.